Here's my problem. The elements that make Doctor Who did not belong in this episode. The aspects that I was really worried about turned out to be fantastic. So I will say straight away, Demons of the Punjab, absolutely incredible episode. I was so concerned that it were treading on really sensitive toes, and I personally feel like they did a fantastic job at telling the story about the partition of India. Now, from somebody's perspective who has closer hand experience with that, it may be a different opinion, but from my point of view, of somebody who basically knew nothing about that, I feel like it was a good introduction to the topic, and therefore thinking of the younger children viewers, often at whom this show is aimed, I feel like it's a really good gateway into learning about that. So educationally, fantastic. The actual story, we're over halfway now, and it's about time Yaz had a meaning. So far, she has just been a tag-along. She has been a backseat passenger. This story could not have existed without Yaz. So finally, Yaz has a meaning. And I thought she was great in this episode, and Umbreen is a really good character. And what I loved, especially the moment we saw young Umbreen, was how we could see the passing of time. Just this show is constantly playing with time and images of time. And it was such a beautiful moment. And I think it's something a lot of us would want. The Doctor did take a risk, it going back in time to Yaz's own history. And I feel like none of the previous Doctors would have done that. But we have this kind of new personality with Whittaker. She's a lot more caring, or outwardly caring, I think, than the previous Doctors. So everything so far is fantastic. The music, oh goodness, the music was so intense. Honestly, fantastic. The setting, the scenery, stunning. We had some really great open spaces, and then we had some contrasting kind of almost claustrophobic settings. Everything was brilliant. The thing I didn't like about this is the sci-fi. And that's what Doctor Who is about, so I kind of feel like I can't say that. But because this is such an important, pivotal, historic thing, I feel like sci-fi doesn't have a place there. And I know a lot of people said the same thing with Rosa. The sci-fi element in Rosa felt like it was really shoehorned in just to make the show sci-fi. Otherwise, of course, people would complain that this sci-fi TV show had no sci-fi element. So I feel like there are always going to be issues. But these demons, I feel like these demons are a manifestation of people's fears about the partitioning and the separation there. So as a metaphor, yes, I think it works well for a lot of different aspects. But I feel like even if those demons weren't there, or maybe especially if those demons weren't in this episode, it would have been even more powerful and poignant, because the real threat is humanity, our own histories, and the things, the decisions we as a species make. But the demons obviously had to be in because it's a sci-fi show, and if there was no alien threat, then a lot of people would complain about that, and I completely understand that. But for me personally, as with Rosa, I feel like they really were shoehorned in there, and I feel like this is something that will become a recurring problem if Chibnall continues to do more historical based episodes, which I hope he does, because I thoroughly enjoy them, and I've said it before in reviews of previous series. I wish we had more trips into the past. So I have no complaints with the episode itself. The story was fantastic, the characters were great, fantastic suspense, brilliant music, great look at Yaz's past. Finally nice to have her introduced. My only complaint, as I said, is the fact that it has sci-fi elements in it. And that's not something I can complain about with Doctor Who. I just feel like they were put in there to kind of build a sci-fi story around a real event. So I can't really complain. That's what the show is about. But personally, I just think it could have completely stood on its own 2 feet as a time machine story. I know it's scientific, but it's also a time story. Time machine, travel through time. That is scientific in its own. I don't think we needed the alien threat. But apart from that, fantastic episode.